There's also a layer of how particularly Trump approaches things and the Republican Party has shifted is this emotional domination, the bullying layer that ties into the narrative. And he
Yeah.
creates this sense of like of invincibility and undefeatability for those that aren't in his camp. It can certainly be demoralizing, but it's also hard to overcome like people that are in that tribe to actually reach them.
But you see, I don't think there's any value trying to correct the false narratives, in the same that I don't think
Okay.
there's any value at all in arguing with climate deniers. The overwhelming
Yeah. Okay.
evidence is that the vast majority of people in the United States, in the UK, and around the world appreciate that the climate crisis is real and it's man-made. So I have a choice
Mm-hmm.
now. I can either start the narrative of what can be done about it, or I can spend all my energy fighting with climate deniers.
Okay.
I don't think the second option is worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm much
So it's
more
better to
interested,
shape the new narrative. Yeah. The
well, to
alternative.
shape the new narrative about what we can do, which is true,
Yeah.
than
Mm.
to get into as they say, get into a fight with a pig. All that happens is the pig has a good time and you're covered in mud, right? That's what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think of as arguments with climate deniers. I'm not going to change their minds. I'm going to get extremely exhausted. I'm not going to achieve
Mm-hmm.
anything, and I'm going to come away angry and dispirited. I won't have got anything out of
Yeah.
that. When I start having discussions
Yeah.
with people about
Yeah.
all the things we can do about reducing our carbon emissions, positive stuff happens. The number of people I can collaborate with increases, and we feel much more energized about the work we're doing. So I
Yeah.
really don't think it's worth the effort to
Mm-hmm.
try to persuade somebody that they're wrong. I think you
Mm-hmm.
have to persuade them of something that's better.
And I do think that's a big failure in our societies. A lot of people are in pain and wounded or struggling, and there wasn't a story, there wasn't an alternative, and somebody toxic came along and gave them that. And I think it just made it worse. But for them,
Mm-hmm.
it was something. They didn't have. They were stuck, and they needed something, and that's what they had. And I can
Yeah.
relate to that personally, just in terms of my own toxic people I've interacted with
Yeah.
in my past.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think, for Hillary Clinton to call parts of the electorate deplorables, or for the president to describe them as garbage, this is really unhelpful. It's deeply disrespectful. I think really appalling. I
yeah,
think you have to accord people respect. You may disagree with everything
mm-hmm.
they do and say, but if you really believe that all people are created equal, then you have to treat them like equals. And I
Yeah.
don't believe you're going to change their minds if you don't.